Labour is not the time for you to zone out. When the moment arrives, you're not just going to be standing in the room waiting for your baby to appear. You're part of the process. Your partner may be the one giving birth, but your role matters more than most dads realise. You're her anchor, her advocate, her teammate. And if you think you'll just be holding her hand while everything happens around you, you're already behind. In this episode, we're going to talk about how to truly support your partner during labour, so when the pressure rises, you know exactly how to show up. You're not expecting a baby, you're becoming a father, and there's a difference. Most men don't realise this until it's too late. They wait, they stay quiet, they assume that they'll figure it all out when the baby arrives. And then one day, you're exhausted, disconnected, and wondering how you became a passenger in your own family. This series exists to stop that from happening. I'm Aidan, founder of the Modern Fatherhood Club and dad of two. I've lived the mistakes, I've carried the pressure, and I know exactly what it costs when fathers don't prepare. This isn't about being perfect, it's about being present. It's about understanding your role early so you don't spend the next 5 years trying to repair it. Every episode in this series is designed to give you clarity, perspective, and one thing you can do right now to show up better for your partner and your child. No fluff, no lectures, just clear, practical advice based on real experience. Because fatherhood isn't a role, it's a responsibility, and it starts now. Now, labour is intense, it's emotional, it's unpredictable, and it's one of the most important moments you'll ever be a part of. My partner, she had a very clear birth plan. No pain relief, no dramas. Her words were simple. I'm going to breathe this baby out. And she meant it. For 90 days before the birth, she practiced breathing exercises every night. By the time labour arrived, she was ready. Physically, mentally, emotionally. When we arrived at the birthing centre, the first thing I heard was another woman screaming through labour down the hallway. It was intense. But when we entered our room, something changed. The environment was calm. My partner was focused on her breathing. A hypnobirthing playlist had started. And the preparation she'd done, well, it kicked in. And that's the power of preparation. Now, of course, every birth is different. Every birth plan is personal. Some experiences unfold exactly as planned. Others take unexpected turns. In our case, things largely went to plan. But that doesn't mean everything felt easy. Labour still demands enormous focus, energy, and resilience. And during those moments, your partner may doubt herself, feel overwhelmed, or just need reassurance that she can keep going. And that's where you come in. Your partner's birth plan, it's not just her plan, it's your plan together. You should know it inside out. Because during labour, there may be moments where she can't explain what she wants. You may be the one communicating with midwives. You may be the one asked to make decisions if things change. That's why preparation matters. Because your role is to protect her space, her mindset, her body, and her wishes. Now, sometimes labour doesn't follow the script. Before the birth of our youngest, we had to monitor reduced baby movement. We went to the hospital to have things checked. Everything seemed okay. But because we were already 4 days past the due date, the hospital suggested induction the next day. That wasn't our plan. But our priority was simple. Get baby here safely. So we adapted. The midwife monitored her contractions and suggested we go for a walk and grab some lunch. On our return, she'd break her waters. And once that labour started, my partner went straight back to focusing on breathing. She stayed calm, focused, committed. And that moment reminded me of something important. Even when plans change, you've got to adjust together. Now it's time to push. Things become intense very quickly. This is where your support becomes even more important. So encourage her through each contraction. Help her stay focused, hydrated. Support whatever position feels most comfortable. It could be standing, leaning, sitting. Let her lead. You're there to support, not direct. And remember, the birth isn't finished the moment baby arrives. The placenta still needs to be delivered. So understanding the full birth plan matters right through the process. One piece of advice that I always give dads is this. Stay aware of what's happening around you. While your partner focuses on giving birth, you need to observe the environment. Talk to the midwives, ask questions, understand what's happening. Because small conversations can actually reassure your partner that she's in safe hands. And if complications arise, you may be asked to make decisions quickly. So stay engaged, stay calm, and always focus on what's best for mum and baby. Look, a few simple things can make a big difference. Learn the language used during labour so you understand what professionals are discussing. Know your partner's birth plan inside out and the reasons behind her choices. Stay engaged in the room. This isn't the time to scroll on your phone or mentally check out. And when she begins to doubt herself, remind her of her preparation, remind her of her strength, and that you have her back. Your confidence can make all the difference and help her achieve her goal. If you take one thing from this episode, let it be this. Be an active participant. You're not just watching the birth, you're supporting it. Your presence, encouragement, and awareness, it can make a massive difference to how she feels during labour. I know she's putting in the effort, but labour is a team effort. Know the birth plan and understand her wishes. Be prepared to adapt if the circumstances change, and remain calm and engaged in the delivery room. And remember that your active support builds trust that will carry into those early days as parents. In the previous episodes, we talked about understanding the stages of labour. Now you know how labour unfolds. And in this episode, we focused on your role during that process. But there's one moment that changes everything. The moment baby finally arrives. Those first few minutes after birth, the emotions, the responsibility, the realization that your life has just changed. That's what we'll cover in the next few episodes. But before we do, it's probably worth just being clear with you on my role during labour. The first labour, I was engaged, I was present, I was there. I was doing my best. I really didn't know what to expect. I remember being greeted with the screams on the maternity ward and thinking, what is going to happen? How are we going to get through this? But then the calmness descended. And it's down to your partner. This is something you can't control. And this is why you need to understand the birthing plan. Because there will be moments when she doubts herself, her ability. There will be moments when she stretches for the pain relief. And that's where you've got to be engaged. That's where you've got to understand the options available. You've got to understand what each one means so that you can help her make informed decisions. She is going to go through intense pain. She is going to feel overwhelmed at times. And if labour isn't progressing, then she's going to fatigue. And if I'm honest, I remember the first time around, she was so focused on birthing our oldest. And I remember we were getting to those last moments. And that's when you step in. That's when you offer the encouragement. Because she's got that far. She's got that far. She's broken through this insane pain barrier. And that's where the fatigue really kicks in. It's the fatigue, I think, from my personal experience, that really catches her out. That's where she starts to doubt herself. And that's where your encouragement and your love and your support really helps her get over that final hurdle. Now with our second, it was so much quicker. Labour started and a couple of hours later, baby arrived. But there were conversations throughout that labour where she began to doubt herself. She did question whether she'd get through it. There was even one point where she wanted pain relief. And then he arrived. So expect the unexpected. Be switched on in the room. Offer your support. Protect her body, her mind, and baby. And listen. Listen to what she's saying. Listen to what's being said in the room. And be sure to ask questions if you're unsure. Because if you're unsure, then you can't reassure her. And it's that reassurance that gets her through. Play an active role. Give her the support she deserves. And watch her strength and power as she brings life into the world. If this episode hit home, well, that's not by accident. Fatherhood has a way of surfacing the things that we've been avoiding. Pressure, fear, expectation, identity. The difference between dads who grow into the role and dads who burn out under it, simple. Support and awareness. If you want ongoing support, then we're here for you. So join the Modern Fatherhood Club. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe so you don't miss any of our future episodes. And if you're listening on podcast platforms, follow the show because it helps us reach more dads who need it. And if you know another dad who's going to benefit from this conversation and some of our other conversations, please share this episode and others. Remember, presence beats perfection, awareness beats guesswork, and the work that you do now is going to echo for decades. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.